Quickie Wednesday! Yeah! Quickie Wednesday.
What's up, guys? And today it's Quickie Wednesday yet again, and we are talking about Sleeping Beauty, which was just released on Signature Collection along with 101 Dalmatians, which I did buy. I didn't purchase Sleeping Beauty yet. I might get the Best Buy Steelbook eventually. That does look very nice. But we're talking about the original animated film Sleeping Beauty. And what it did to me as a child. I think as a kid, this was my favorite Disney classic, and I'm not entirely sure why. All I know is that I loved the ending when, Maleficent turns into the dragon and Prince Philip fights her, and the dragon falls, and you see the sword in the ground. The music kind of goes boom, and it kind of zooms into that. I remember that as a child, and even watching it today, it still sort of resonates with me as I remember my childhood and watching that. So I guess this is a special movie to me, even though that it might not be one of the very best. I do think that this isn't a great movie. I think it's a pretty good movie. Looking at it to review it, not just with the fan screen and the childhood screen on there, taking that away and looking at this film just critically, and just as I do every other film. Like I said, I don't think this is a great film. I think it's a very good film. I think Maleficent is a very compelling villain. Even though we don't really know much about her, she's the evil witch. And she was upset that she wasn't invited to the christening. So therefore she puts a spell on Aurora. She's insulted by that, I suppose. So she puts a spell on Aurora to, obviously, you guys know, she has to get kissed by her 18th birthday, or she's going to die in her sleep. But she sleeps until she falls asleep after she pricks her finger on the spindle of the spinning wheel. So, Aurora isn't a very compelling character. She gets swept up by a guy, Prince Philip. She finds out that she can't be with the guy. She cries, goes home, pricks her finger, falls asleep. There's really not much there. The fairies are pretty good, and they're a little more fleshed out. I mean, they are just the fairies that are in the kingdom and looking after Aurora. I think that's actually where the movie falters. It's where it's not as compelling. I think the opening sequence is great. The christening scene after that, how we see all the spindles being burned, and the score. What a phenomenal score in this movie. But once the fairies take Aurora and we sort of cut to the future to where she's now 17, she's going to be 18, I believe, when they're living out in the cottage in the woods, I do feel like that's where the movie sort of gets a little slower, especially when the fairies are making the birthday cake and all that. It's entertaining, the animation is good, but overall it's just not compelling. Not that everything has to be compelling, but the story doesn't go anywhere. It's just sort of we have to watch these fairies make a cake. When she goes back out and she sees Philip, and the Once Upon a Dream sequence is great. Then we go back to the castle. Everybody falls asleep. Prince Philip gets captured. I'd say the first 15 minutes of the movie and the last 15-20 minutes of the movie are fantastic. The rest of it I just think is pretty good. It's good as a Disney animated classic. It looks fantastic. The animation is incredible. But overall, I don't think that this movie, like I said, is great. I do think the things to remember about it are Maleficent, and the score, the music is very memorable, and that battle at the end is pretty much what you walk away and you sort of remember. The spindle and the spinning wheel, all that sort of stuff. And then the end of the day, I'm going to give Sleeping Beauty 3.5 out of 5 stars. It's a pretty good movie, looking back on it, as a child, you don't care. You just watch movies to watch them, enjoy them, but now that I do this, I think I had to be fair with it, which I think I was. It is a pretty good movie still. So, guys, comment your thoughts in the comments. Do you plan, or did you already see Sleeping Beauty? What do you think about it? What do you think about Maleficent, the Angelina Jolie movie that came out? Because that totally took the character of Maleficent and destroyed it. That character in that movie was really nothing like the character in this movie. It turned out to be a Sleeping Beauty remake where they totally changed the character of Sleeping Beauty. or Maleficent totally changed the character. The only scene that resembled her was the christening scene in Maleficent, which was great. And I would have loved to seen that version of her throughout the whole film, but they tried to make her a good guy. It didn't really work for me. But that's a different conversation, guys. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Reviews coming for Abominable, Joker. Can't wait to see that. Those are coming. Also, you can follow me at Facebook and Twitter. The links to those are in the description of this video. And you can also follow me on Instagram at KingOfRises131. And guys, that's about it. Thank you very much for watching my Quickie Wednesday review for Sleeping Beauty. Over and out.
Get your quickie on Wednesdays.